Hey, thanks for jumping on here. I'm going to be reading a little bit just because I don't want to screw up the details. And so if I look down and I look away, I'm actually reading off of this press release here. So today I want to break down the new Ontario housing announcement involving both the provincial and federal governments, and specifically the part that everyone is talking about, or I'm talking about a lot. So I'll say it's everyone. Basically, talking about development charges potentially being cut by 50%. Now that's huge. So again, the headline sounds simple, but let's see what actual details there are in some of these press releases here. The 2026 budget by the province was working with the federal government on new funding programs for municipalities that agreed to significantly reduce development charges. Okay, so today, March 30th, there was a joint announcement and background material pointing to a cost-cutting and cost-matching federal-provincial structure worth a combined $8.8 billion. That's a billion with a B over the next 10 years, focused on housing-enabling infrastructure. So again, big number, exciting number, and so we're hoping that's enough money to go around for the different municipalities that want it. But as with anything, you better move forward, and it's the first people with their hands out to get this moving forward. So this is good. Let's see how quickly the municipal governments can react. Okay, that matters because development charges are not a small minor fee. Okay, so understand. So in different municipalities, it's different amounts. It's all based on what is there, and it's typically broken down into a couple of different components. So you've got the true municipal component, then you've got the school board component. Those are the two big ones, and then each of those can be broken down into other things. But ultimately, when you look at City of Guelph, for example, you're talking about $80,000. So to have that cut, that's a big number, and potentially most of that savings is going to go right into the end user's pocket, or more importantly, those houses are going to be able to get built at a cost that makes sense for the end user to actually buy. So if you're talking about $40,000 savings on $1 million home, it doesn't sound like a lot, but now all of a sudden you're competing against other properties that are $960, right? So that's great news. And now a builder can go, you know what? I can build it for $960. Let's do that. Whereas they may not have before this announcement. They hit projects right up front, and for a lot of multi-housing projects, that's a massive fee. Right? Like we're talking about, we're building 10, 20 unit buildings or developments. And, that's a huge amount. So when the government says that they want to cut development charges, what are they really saying? And what are they doing? Well, they want to improve feasibility, right? They want to see these projects moving forward. Okay. This is not just an Ontario idea that came out of nowhere. The federal government had already committed to at the national level to cutting municipal development charges in half for all multi-unit housing. Now, the announcement that I saw didn't say it was specific to multi-family, so we'll see what again, I got to go back and look at the asterisks and that sort of stuff, but so let's see what comes of that. So what we're seeing now looks like Ontario is becoming the major test case. So that's okay. You don't mind being the lab rat if you get the money first. So that works out great. And some of the other provinces right now aren't having the same issues that Ontario is. You look at some of the stuff going on in Saskatchewan and Alberta, and they're just not having the same pinch that we're feeling. So that's good, and a lot of that is the condo market in Toronto and the spillover that way. So we'll see what's going on. But it also makes sense because Ontario has some of the highest development charges in Canada as well. right? So again, it's a big swing when you're talking about anywhere from, you know, $20,000 to $40,000 to $100,000. Like some of these development charges are massive. Anyway, how's it supposed to work? So at least based on what we know right now, the structure looks something like this. Municipalities would have to participate. So it's not just an automatic everybody's in. It's they have to announce and work on how they're participating. Ontario's own budget language said funding would be eligible for municipalities that take action to significantly reduce development charges. Half would certainly be a big cut. So it looks like it's not an automatic blanket to cut the whole province tomorrow morning. Instead, the likely model is municipalities agree to reduce their DCs, their development charges. Province and federal governments help to offset the loss. So, and that support is tied to infrastructure that enables housing growth. So as an example, in Guelph, we are working on a street that does not currently have services. So there's a massive cost that we are asking the provincial government to help with. If any money that came back on that would be a huge cost savings. And more importantly is the timing of it. So development charges and, when you service properties, all of that is front loaded, right? Like you're coming in and those costs are immediate, long before you're getting money back from people who are looking to buy, right? Or potential tenants or any of that. So again, it's really important that they address this because those are front end fees. How do we take advantage of this? So if you're a builder, developer, investor, or anyone involved in land or housing, the obvious benefit is lower upfront costs on multi-unit housing, right? Says that again, my understanding it was just any housing, so we'll have to check the asterisks on that. That can mean apartment projects, rental buildings, other high-density housing forms, and they all become easier to finance. It could help projects that are currently sitting because the numbers don't work, right? I spoke in one of the other videos about a project that Skyline's working on in Brampton, where the builder had 1,280 condo units. What it seems like to me is that they put a stop on that and they switched over to 1,280 purpose-built rental units. And they're working with Skyline on developing that. So to me, it seems that it's pretty evident that some of these projects just, were kind of stopped in their tracks, but now more feasible. Anyway, you still have the land cost, you still have construction cost, interest rates and financing. We had interest rates go up a bit in the past couple of weeks, and it looks like there's still some push to head up further, but we'll see. When we get a chance to meet with our municipal leaders and development teams and Mr. Schreiner as an example, so MPP Schreiner, head of the Ontario Green Party, it's always a question of what is the mindset, because you can approach the same project with two separate mindsets and have very different outcomes. And if a municipality really wants to move forward with projects, they'll find a way to do that. And if they don't want to move forward, they'll find a way to delay it and push it back right now, because there's money being offered by the province, by the federal government, and still some money kicking around from the accelerator fund, and we'll see how this impacts that. But the municipality's mindset has to be, hey, if we're going to get new housing, we got to push for it right now. So, I think that's very important. And announcements like this, if nothing else, just is to give that push to say, listen, we know we need housing. Everyone needs to be heading in the same direction. Whether you agree with some of the politics beside it, that's neither here nor there. But as long as everybody's saying, you know what, we do want this, let's move forward, you know, that's great. So question one, what municipalities will be eligible? And I think this is where, you know, we're going to be, I won't say lobbying, because I think there's a negative connotation with that, but we're certainly going to be contacting our local municipalities that operate where we are, and just say, hey, are we able to push you guys to move forward with this? Because this is a great opportunity. Is the reduction truly 50% on from these participating municipalities, or is there going to be flexibility? So right now, as an example, if we go to City of Guelph, for the sake of this example, we were saving 100% of development charges if the unit was affordable. But the asterisk there was of the municipality's portion. And as I mentioned earlier, there's, you know, multiple components to the development charges. You have the municipal, you know, city hall type development charges, but then you also have the school board side. So on an $80,000 bill, they're telling you you're going to save 100% of their portion. And so you're saving $40,000. Again, still great. It's still not anything to sneeze at. But don't think for a second there that you know, if they can't find ways to step in and pay for some of the savings, regardless of how it's worded, 50% this, 100% that, you know, is it 100% of the total? Is it 100% of their portion? Is it 50% of their portion? So we'll see where that goes. Does this only apply to multi-unit res, or is there broader categories? So, you know, I would love to see this on single family homes. Here's a quick story. So one of the stats that I heard, this is insane. So we were at a panel of planners in the city of Guelph, put on by One Point Realtor Association, and the city of Guelph representative in their planning department, she had some great statistics for us. It was fantastic. But here's one that'll blow your mind. The city of Guelph had 12, so just 12 applications for single family home permits in all of 2025. Okay. However, and here's what really caught me off guard. In addition to having only 12 applications for permit, they had 18 applications for demolition permit. So developers had purchased single family homes and had applied to have them torn down because they're going to build multi-res stuff or duplexes or whatever, right? That means that for the city of Guelph in 2025, there was a net -6 single family home permits total. Can you imagine that in a city of Guelph's size, and which has always, you know, prided itself on some fantastic neighborhoods and community spirit, they had a decrease in the number of single family homes in 2025. That should strike you as I'll say a scary statistic. So yeah, that's insane. So it'll be interesting to see if this change has anything to do with the single family homes, or if it's multi-res only. But again, I've got to read the finer print. I want to get on here and just let people know how excited about this I was. Okay, so how engaged will the province be to offset the costs? Is it going to be dollar for dollar? That'll be interesting to see, not from the builder developer's perspective, but from the municipality, because they're going to be far more apt to engage in this product if they know that they're not going to have to bear any of the costs. So yeah. And because cities always push back on DC cuts by saying that they'll still need money for roads and pipes and sewers and stormwater and transit and all the rest of the infrastructure required, you know, how much more information or details is the province going to need before they kick in and start writing checks for that? So, and then if you have your calculator out, take 8.8 billion, divide that by the population in Ontario, which I think is 19 million, right? And, you know, then multiply that by the population in your municipality. You know, how much does that work out to, you know, on a per town basis? There's still other reasons why housing isn't being built, and I don't know that this is going to be able to be addressed. It's a very complex matter. So again, you've got land cost, you've got construction cost. You know, vertical construction costs have dramatically increased over the past 5 years, and when labor makes up a large component of that, it's really tough to push back and have those costs go down. You had a few different trades strikes during COVID that impacted costs, right? So it'll be interesting to see if this is enough. I think so. I think this is a great step in the right direction, but you know, what else can we do? And then is it going to be application based? So again, as we submit applications to a municipality to move forward with a project, like site plan approval or whatever stage, and I don't know where it would make sense, you know, is that when they're able to apply to the province? That. And I didn't really touch on this a whole lot because our focus has really been on the MLI Select program. So this program for us is huge. I didn't really talk about some of the announcements with regards to the HST savings. So most people, when they buy their first, like any home, anybody buys a home that they're going to live in, that HST, the first 45,000 is rebated. Okay. So, and that was like somewhere in the neighborhood of about 500,000 just based on credits and so forth. So anything less than that, it didn't truly have an impact, this announcement. So only when you start getting up, you know, $800,000-$900,000 does it really have an impact. And people are saying, oh, you know, it's like $130,000. Well, no, it can max out at 130, but the people that you really want to see this help and that sort of thing, you know, they're spending 700, 800, 900,000 on a home, or less. So the savings isn't as dramatic as this will be. Yeah. So again, we're pretty excited, and because this has a direct impact above and beyond, you know, for units that are 450,000 or 500,000, right? And it comes right off the bottom line. So this is great. I think they've done enough of a job to narrow it down and say, okay, if your municipality participates, so the next big video that they'll have to launch is what municipalities are going to participate, and go from there. And it's no different than some of these municipalities that have been putting out SIPs. So again, to incentivize people in certain areas of their city to build, and it's no different than you know, some of these municipalities that you know, are already structuring how they're trying to save on DCs and that sort of stuff. So I really hope that they go, we got to lock in on this and go from there. And, for us as builder developers, we watch for big changes in the market to allow us to go in and I won't say take advantage of, but do what the project's intended to do. And this is no different. So when municipalities made broad sweeping changes to their bylaws, so a comprehensive zoning bylaw change that would allow for further intensification in certain areas, regardless of what the existing zoning had been, it gave us an opportunity to step forward and say, okay, that house falls into that. This makes sense to buy and move forward. And we got a good value. The seller got a good price. Like it was win-win. So this is no different. If a municipality is going to be participating, you're going to have builder and developers find that far more attractive to be in that marketplace. So we're going to monitor it very closely to see who's doing what. But anyway, I always come back to this, so I'll finish with this. If you're interested in investing in real estate and you want to be sort of leading the charge in terms of taking advantage of programs that are out there, hit subscribe, send me a direct message. We have lots of different projects. We aren't just your typical, hey, buy a rental, sit on it. We can help you with all sorts of different things. But we'll ask first and we'll walk you through, does this actually fit into your investment portfolio? Does this make sense? Because again, some people will say yes, some people will say no. It's really dependent on you and what your ultimate goals are. Ours is to help people invest and build real estate. Thanks.